Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 329. Phil Graham here. I've got a game changer episode for you guys. Today, I'm going to be sharing 3 Facebook and Instagram ad tests that you should be running today. One of the biggest keys to success when it comes to advertising and marketing is proper testing and data. And most people don't really love talking about it or doing it, or if they are trying to do it, they're usually not doing it right. But I'm telling you, testing is a huge key to people's success, especially when running ads. This is going to be all about being strategic and being smart, and not just randomly running ads, but actually testing different things to see what works best, and then building off of that to make them better and better and better, versus what most people do is just randomly run stuff. You're going to have such an advantage when you do this and you do it the right way. When you test and use data to make great decisions, it can save you money, it can make you money, and you can learn so much from doing it. It is definitely one of our secret sauces that we leverage that many other advertisers, and I would actually go so far as to say most other advertisers, don't. So I'm going to share these 3 tests with you guys today because they are so powerful. I cannot believe, you guys, it's literally only a couple days away from September, or maybe it already is September if you're listening to this, a few days after I publish it. That's just crazy. The year is flying by. I'm going to have an upcoming episode about how you should be preparing for and leveraging the holiday season when it comes to your ads. So make sure you watch for that. And if you guys want to get in touch, if you're looking for somebody to actually run your ads for you, a pro that you can trust, or if you're looking for some one-on-one coaching, that is a huge thing that can help people. So either one of those things, you can go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or just DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. Let's connect and we'll schedule a short Zoom call. So I want to jump right into this episode and share the 3 Facebook ad tests you should be running today. I want to start though with my philosophy around testing. My key philosophy is you always want to better your best and fix the rest. I know it rhymes. Better your best, fix the rest. So essentially, that means no matter what you're doing when you're advertising, if you have something that's working amazing, it could always potentially be better. So you always want to work to make that better. Because no matter how good it's doing, what if you could make it do twice as good? What would that do for your business? And then fixing the rest. There's going to be plenty of the rest. Either ads that are just working okay, but not that great, as well as ads that you run that don't work. And those, of course, need to be fixed. And that is all done through testing, not just randomly running ads, randomly changing things without a strategy, without using data or proper testing. You got to do it right. Another one of my philosophies is ABT. Always be testing. Or it could be ABTS, always be testing something. Don't ever run ads if you're not testing something. And when you do test, I recommend just having one variable with what you're testing, so you can always identify pretty quickly and easily not only what worked and what didn't work, but most importantly, why. Because when you know the why, then you know you can fix it or you can do more of it when it's working. Don't test 10 different variables because you'll never know why, and it's just going to be a waste. So let's jump into the 3 tests. I want to keep this episode short, sweet, and full of value for you guys. Test number 1 is to identify your best creative. And when I say creative, that could mean video, it could mean an image, it could mean your ad copy, your ad angles, or certain offers, a lot of different things. So there's a lot of different things you can test within that. But you want to try and find out what your best creative is. So that would be test number 1. So what I would do is I would take, and this is going to depend on your budget. You could do as few as 2, or you could do 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 or more. depending on your budget. But let's say you take 2 creatives or 3 or 4, and you want to run them as ads to the exact same audience. So let's just say you're testing videos and images. What I would do is I would have, let's say, 2 or 3 different videos and 2 or 3 different images. Let's say you had 3 of each. That would be 6 ads, 6 different creatives you're testing. The ad copy, I would have all the same. So the only difference between the ads would be the image or the video. That's the only change. But that would be different for each one of the ads. So I would take those 6 and I would run them to the identically same audience and also give them the same budget. A big mistake people make when they test is they use a campaign budget or just put a bunch of ads in one ad set sharing the same budget. And if you ever look, you're going to see that many times Facebook gives reach to like 1 or 2 ads, but then the others hardly get any reach at all. I've had situations where an ad had reach of like 20,000 and another one had reach of like 315. You can't compare those two. It's complete night and day difference. Back to sports analogies, but if you're evaluating basketball players, if you're a coach and you want to pick the best player, and you're choosing between 2 players, you want to see both players play enough so you know who's better. You can't choose between one player that you watch for 20 minutes and another player plays for 10 seconds. With such a big playing time difference between the 2 players, you would never be able to compare and contrast their performances and effectively pick the best one. Wouldn't happen. Well, same thing when you're running ads and you're testing. You can't have significantly different impressions and budget spend on what you're testing and compare them against each other. I would consider that in some cases a total waste of money, even if it works. You want to be able to know what works and what doesn't as quickly as possible. And so you only want to have one variable and you want them to have the same budget. So I would do budgets at the ad set level, and each one of these ads would have its own ad set. So for example, if you're doing 6 creatives, there would be 6 ad sets, all with the same budget, all with the same audience, and with the same ad copy, but a different image or video. And just to clarify, when I say the same ad budget, I mean the same dollar amount. Each thing you're testing would have its own separate budget, but it would be the same dollar amount as everything else. So if you were running $10 a day ad sets, all 6 of these ad tests would have their own $10 a day ad set. So the $10 a day would be the same, but they would have their own separate budgets. So each and every test would spend $10 a day or whatever your budget is for that test. And that would be how I would find my best creative. And again, if you have a small budget, you can do this with 2. Start with 2. You test an image versus a video. And then when you find the winner, you can do further testing and try and find a better one. But that would be the first step. Identify your best creative. That's number 1. Test number 2, you want to also identify your best audience. So what I would do is, and it depends on your budget. You could do it all at once, or you could do this in steps and stages. But let's say you do your creative testing first, and then a couple weeks later, you've identified out of what you tested your best creative so far. Well, I would take that best creative, well, let's say it was a video, for example, and I would run that same video to some different audiences. And depending on your budget, it could be 2 audiences, it could be 3, 4, 5, or more. And I would mix it up. I would have like a big broad audience. I would have a lookalike. I would have some segmented audiences, maybe some audiences based off of demographics, but I would mix it up and have some different audiences to test. And again, each one of these would have its own ad set and own budget. So in this scenario, the audiences are all different, but the ads are the exact same. You're using your number 1 creative, but your audiences are different. That's the thing you're testing. That's the variable, the only difference in this test. And again, same budget. And then last, test number 3, you want to test the best ad objective. So you want to take your best creative that you learned from test 1, and then your best audience from test 2, put them together, and then create an ad and then do different objectives. So you'll have to have a campaign for each one of these because each campaign can only have one objective. So for example, if you're doing sales, you could do a split test with traffic and then another campaign maybe for video views, just as an example. Because some objectives work better than others, and there's not always one that's always the best. It does depend. So you want to find the best ad objective. And again, same thing. Every campaign would have its own budget. It would have the same budget as the other ones in this test. And the ad and the audience would be the same in this situation. It's just the objective would be the only difference. And that would be test number 3. And then the pro tip is, after all of this, you then identify what your best creative was, your best audience, and whatever the best ad objective was. And you put that all together for one amazing ad. And then the fun starts because you're not done. From that point, you keep testing to try and make it better. Once you've got your amazing ad, you've got to test more creatives, more audiences, etc. Because just because you found a winning creative doesn't mean it's the best one you could ever do. You might create one that works 10 times better. How do you know unless you test it? Doing this, though, can you see how it can put you at a huge advantage? You're not just randomly running ads. You're testing in a smart way strategically, and that can make a huge difference. There's also a bunch of sub-tests you can do. Really using data can make all the difference in the world. So you guys, I hope this was helpful. Testing is huge. It's such a part of our secret sauce. Do not ignore this. Yes, the other stuff is more fun for some people, but testing is so important, and you've got to learn how to do it and learn how to do it right. Put this into practice with your ads, my friends. Episode 329 is in the books. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to get in touch with me, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can @ me on Instagram, DM me at philgrahamdigital, and I will talk to you guys on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.